Okay, all good in the back. Okay, hello guys. So I will try to present today the role of the Scrum Master. It's a journey that I've experienced during my experience in my working in Continental, and also it's a journey that I've seen that other colleagues of mine are having. I encourage you to, let's say, to interrupt me anytime to discuss on slides, and we can discuss also afterwards at the marketplace. Some words about me. My name is Stefan Juglea. I'm a Scrum Master at Continental since 3.5 years. I've worked as a software developer and also graphics before this, and I also own a small company that we do graphics and augmented reality for mobiles. I will start with a bit of context about Agile. So every company is a technology company. If you look, for example, of companies like Airbnb, it's a rental or technology. Uber, it's car sharing or technology. Amazon, Whirlpool is doing home appliances or technology. So you can see that every company now that wants to be relevant on the market, they have to bring technology in their production, in their doings of workplace and stuff. So if you are working in technology, I think this is the, let's say, the best way to work, the best place to work, and also technology favors also Agile. So if we are talking about technology and rapid market changes, they're favored by Agile. Forbes did a survey, I think, latest in last year, I think. They did a survey, and more and more companies are adopting Agile principles. Even companies that are not doing full software development, they are adopting Agile principles. So companies like Zara or H&M, they are doing clothing, but they are adopting an Agile mindset and also Scrum principles for creating new, let's say, new design for clothing. So that teams that are creating new designs are doing, for example, dailies. They are having a backlog that is prioritized with items. So they are trying to let's say, take over some of the principles that we bring from technology. So yes, for the guys that, let's say, are still having some doubts about Agile. So maybe some of you are trying to promote in your teams Agile. I definitely can say you that this is the way. We cannot go back, and let's say adopting this as early as possible is best, because this is a transition. It's not something that you can earn by training. It's something that needs some years to start to change in the company. For example, here at Continental and in other big companies in automotive, there are too many radical revolutions happening those days. We can talk about electric cars, autonomous driving, car sharing, and I think there are others also. They all put some pressure on requirements. They put pressure to be flexible. Overnight, things can change, and we have to adapt. The automotive, let's say, companies are very rigid, and they need very fast to adapt, because if they don't adapt, they lose market. They lose market, and also the OEMs, the clients, ask let's say, us as Continental and also other companies to adapt better. We have examples where, for example, after 1 year of development, the client, let's say, completely dumped the requirements and ask again new requirements. So this is very costly for them and also for us if we don't adapt quickly. The cars that we are building have more and more software. I don't know if you know that the car as a product has the most lines of code in the world. So by 2020, I think will be something like 1 million lines of code. It's more than, I think, an American jet fighter or something like that. So the cars are getting more and more software, and I think in the years to come, we are talking about much more software. Okay, so as Continental, I think other companies are trying to adopt an agile mindset, and Scrum is one of the most common way to achieve this. The journey of the team starts with choosing the Scrum Master. For example, if you go to a team and then ask, okay, who wants to be the Scrum Master? You will see, okay, me, pick me, not me. Okay, this is, let's say, the best example, but in other examples, you can find that the people are really resigned for this, are, let's say, not so open to take this role. So the team attractivity for the Scrum Master role depends very much of how well is understood the role. It depends how much is promoted in the company, and also how it's presented. So we saw in Continental, and I saw also in other companies, that if the management or the company itself doesn't understand very well the role, then it has some lack of understanding, of lack of management. That's why in some, let's say, areas, there are no sufficient Scrum Master, or the Scrum Master role is fading out. I will talk about some of the native wiring of the Scrum Master. So if you are thinking to become a Scrum Master, or what are the things that, let's say, you have as a character to become a Scrum Master, one would be the ability to read the room. The Scrum Master, let's say, have a strange ability that they can read the emotions in the room. They can, let's say, try to understand exactly what happened in the room while they were left. So they have this ability to read emotions to people. They also care about people more than products. Of course, caring about people, it's also will imply that the products are going well. So it doesn't mean that the Scrum Master don't care about the products, but they are those guys that always talk about teamwork. We care about people. They cultivate curiosity. They are the ones that always say, okay, why don't we do it this way? Why don't we try do it like the other company? Why don't we change the way we do? They're also the ones that are, let's say, irritated by, let's say, organization motives. So reasoning. Something like, okay, if you always ask for a change, the organization will push, oh, this is the way that we do here. We cannot change this. So the Scrum Master natively is unhappy with this kind of answering. They are known by their integrity. Inside the team and outside the team, the Scrum Master role should be always the one that doesn't take sides. They're objective and always try to have a balance in thinking. They have communication skills because they are the ones who have to speak with the development team, have to speak with other Scrum Masters, with the stakeholders, with management, with everyone. So those are the roles that will try to promote agile culture and mindset throughout the organization, not only at team level, but they have to do it throughout the organization to other teams, to other colleagues. And also, they have to have problem solving skills from a bit technical problems that they can try to see how they are solving to other kinds of problems, because since they have to remove impediments, they have to know exactly how to solve some of the problems and to have analytic thinking how to solve. Those are some of the native wiring that helps to be a great Scrum Master. But Scrum Masters are grown, not born. So, okay, it's clear that having some native wiring helps, but the Scrum Master role is something that the organization have to invest. So I think no matter how many books you read, how many times you practice, you will see that only in time and by having support, the Scrum Master role will grow. If we don't understand the role, then maybe the role will fade out and we will not have the benefits of the role. So who supports the Scrum Master role? So entering in this journey of agile transition, the POs and also the development teams doesn't fully understand the potential of the Scrum Master role. Usually, if you come from a development team and then you are a Scrum Master, most of the colleagues will say, okay, why should we do this? So they doesn't take you maybe too seriously if you are coming from the same team. The product owner, again, always will be okay by spilling stories from sprint to sprint. They simply don't care about velocity. So they are not open for change. The development teams, also, they are not so open to change. So let's say from this side, the Scrum Masters see some, let's say, resilient and, let's say, lack of willing to change. Also, in some cases, there are insufficient support from the organization or from the management itself. The management itself doesn't understand the role. Most of, let's say, manager may say that this is the role where the Scrum Master will simply put the meetings in a calendar, and he will hold the daily, the planning, review, and that's it. And from time to time, maybe a retrospective. And I think this role can be done maybe in 2 or 3 hours per week or per month, and that's it. We have also examples in our company of Scrum Master that can achieve a performance in less than 1% of their time. So, okay, we don't want to do this, and because of this misunderstanding, also the management don't understand exactly where this role fits. The Scrum Master role in Scrum is the most difficult to understand. The development team, I think it's really to transit. The product owner will always transit to the manager, but the new role of the Scrum Master is very hard to understand what is about. So the Scrum Master will try to find guidance with other Scrum Masters, more experienced Scrum Master. He will try to find guidance online and also coming to public events like AgileTalks. Because seeing that they need a lot of guidance, they will start deepening their knowledge of Scrum and Agile. And we've seen in our colleagues and in our examples, myself also, that without a proper dedicated coaching, the Scrum Master role will fade or will underperform. We have lots of examples where for the Scrum Master, if he will, let's say, finish a Scrum Master task, he will go back in development because it's more easy to go back in development for him if he doesn't know exactly what to do. In most of the cases, he will go back in development and fade out the Scrum Master role. In some of the cases, the Scrum Master also will maybe underperform and don't know what to do if he doesn't have the right guidance. So we strongly recommend that the new Scrum Master will have coaches or mentorship from the ones who has experience. Because only by this, the Scrum Master will know exactly what to do. Even after, let's say, years of practice, it's still hard for the Scrum Master to know exactly, okay, should I intervene here, should I not, what should I do? So these are the challenges that we see day by day, and this is also what I try to explain here to make a bit more clear. So if we are talking about the general Scrum Master tasks from the Scrum Guide, he is the one that will make the team self-managed and self-organized. He is the one that will remove impediments of the development team. He is the one that will shield the team from outside interference. He is also the one that is a servant leader to the team, and also, for example, ensure the team it's fully productive and have a fully potential. All those wordings, I think it's really hard to understand, and they are really abstract. So no one tells you, okay, how do I achieve this? How do I ensure that the team is fully functional and productive? How do I do a self-managed team? How do I do this? This is very challenging, and also because of, let's say, lack of support, most of the time the Scrum Master will give up. I don't know what to do. Other Scrum Master tasks are facilitating Scrum events. From my experience, only by doing this, but let's say in the right way, you will be, let's say, you will have a very, very good Scrum team, because it's really hard to do the ceremonies as they should be done. I can go in any team from my experience, and even someone will come in my team as a guidance or as a shadow Scrum Master, and they will always see improvement points on ceremonies. So if we are talking about ceremonies, and maybe some of us will say, okay, this is something basic, the Scrum Master will always have to improve the ceremonies, because you will see that maybe for I don't know, 40 sprints, making a daily can be so boring for the team. The daily can be transformed in a status meeting. And we don't want to do that, because we've seen in our trainings that the development team always will say, we don't like to do Scrum because we have to report our status every day. So we think that this is a very bad marketing, and this is a very bad understanding of what a daily means. And that's why, let's say, understanding Scrum and the principles, let's say, only by hearing some, then we will start having, let's say, misunderstanding of the basics, and then we will go wrong how to do dailies, how to do events and stuff like that. Coach and Agile to everyone. So the Scrum Master is the one that will coach the team, will coach the product owner and everyone about Scrum and to Agile in the organization. He is the one who manages the team culture and health. All of those things are things that, let's say, you will see enter a bit in conflict with other roles in current situations. He's the one who promotes engineering practices like peer programming, continuous integration, DevOps, extreme programming. All of those things are promoted by Scrum Master, and the Scrum Master is the one that promotes those engineering practices. And also he has to adapt continuously in order to, let's say, to improve himself and also to improve the team that he is guiding. So he's the one that guides the team, and he's the one that also will protect the team against environment. He also helped the organization to adopt an agile mindset. He helps management, he helps development teams, other Scrum Masters, and everyone around to adopt an agile mindset. And we have also other small tasks. As you can see, those kind of tasks are, let's say, not tasks that you can do in 2 or 3 hours per month. Okay, what we've seen in, let's say, in corporations and also in big companies is that the Scrum Master will also a bit overlap with team leader. And always we will get the question in our trainings or by the team leaders, okay, who will intervene in the development team, the Scrum Master or the team leader? Because now the team leader is something like, okay, what is my role here? So who is the one to first intervene in conflicts in the team? Conflicts with management, conflicts between teams, conflicts between team members. Who is the one to intervene? Who is the one to intervene in team motivation? Who is the one that will try to discuss one-on-one with the development? He's the one that will try to also have discussions with discussions with everyone, and also with the full development team to ensure that they are fully motivated. And also, who is the first to intervene in when the team is or a member of the team is underperforming or have some efficiency problems? Who is the one to intervene in removing any kind of impediments for the Scrum team? And also, who is the first to intervene in team behaviors and dynamics? So we always ask the question, and in the past days, of course, this was the team leader, but now this role is taken over by the Scrum Master. But I will also say that not only the Scrum Master is involved in this, the development team also. Because we say that in more mature teams, the development team will start to solve the conflicts. The mature team will start to self-organize, and they don't need any supervision from a Scrum Master or from anyone else. That's why this is the level of self-organized. They will automatically solve their own problems. But this is, let's say, a way to go, a long way to go. Okay, so we saw that the Scrum Master needs independence, and also he needs to access the team. So we don't want to have overlapping with the Scrum Master. So the first thing that the organization has to do is that the team leader should make a step backwards from the team. The team leader should let the Scrum Master, let's say, discuss with the team and be the one who intervene in the team. Also, the organization adaptation we need is that in the Scrum team, we need no superior. So there is no role conflicts in the Scrum team between development team, Scrum Master, or product owner. We want to create an independence for the Scrum Master. Independence, we say that the Scrum Master should be something like having a diplomatic immunity. If he's the one that will talk with, if he's the one that will talk with the management, with his bosses maybe, or the head of department, I want to be, let's say, assured that I will not get fired if I will say, okay, this is wrong, I advise you to do this and that. So we are trying to do this by having, let's say, separate Scrum teams. So the Scrum Master will be in a separate team that will be more independent and more flexible with their way of doing. We also have community of practice, so the Scrum of Scrum meetings where all the Scrum Masters are meeting each other in order to exchange experience between them. Okay, so what we recommend in our transition phase from waterfall to agile, we recommend that the team leader could be a product owner, a Scrum Master, or a developer in one team, and the superior for another team. So we don't want to have a direct conflict of interest. We don't want that the team leader to be also superior for the Scrum team. We also don't want the team leader to be superior of a Scrum Master. So we want to try to solve those problems. Also, what is not recommended, and we see often in other departments in Continental, in other companies, we see often those happening. So the Scrum Master or PO has a superior that is also a Scrum Master or PO. So if I am a PO and I have a superior that is also PO, this product owner can overrule me, and then a conflict could appear. A product owner as a superior to the Scrum team. We don't want to do this. Scrum Master or product owner superior to the same team. This was superior to the Scrum Master. Product owner and Scrum Master to be the same person. We also see teams where Scrum Master and product owner are the same guy. He can do both, so we hope that it's okay. Product owner is part of team management lead. This is, let's say, will show a healthy organization. We say that the product ownership should be out of people management, because in this way there will be a clear focus on the product and not, let's say, some of the conflicts that we constantly see where the product owners don't fulfill all the details of requirements. They do, let's say, very quick summaries for the Jira tickets, for the tickets, and then the development team should handle those. We want the product owner to be fully engaged in product ownership. Okay, so we've seen that the Scrum Master role is overlapping a lot with the team lead. We say that something like 80% it's overlapping. But the team leader role, we continue to have performance review and career path discussions with the team, but in my opinion, in a different context. So what I'm showing now, it's let's say, most of the ideas are aligned with our department. So you will see that other departments in Continental do otherwise, but also some of the ideas are my own, and please don't take them as, okay, this is the way that is done. So we have lots of those are happening in our department, but still I have also my own ideas. Okay, we say what remains for the team leader now. If, let's say, 80% or 90% of the activities are taken by the Scrum Master, what the team leader will do? So the team leader, Agile path. The team leader could go as the Scrum Master. This is let's say, the most fitted role for a team leader. But most of the time they will say, okay, I will lose the authority over the team. I may not like it. But we say that this is the best choice. The team leader could also be a development manager. I will describe a little bit later, but this would be, let's say, also a healthy transition for him. He also can join the development, and he also can join the product owner role fully, and this is also a very fitted role. What I've seen a lot in Continental and in other companies that are adopting Agile is that we should be careful that a limited number of roles are attributed to one person. I've seen lots of persons that are POs, also team leaders, also Scrum Masters, also SPMs, and it's more like a race for titles, not performing for one title. And I've seen this a lot. It's something like a general. So we have to be careful on this. Okay, overview over the Scrum team. I will also show you in details, but what I want to, let's say, explain here is the fact that we want to promote the idea that the Scrum team is like a cell. It's like the cell of the organization, and this cell has no hierarchy, so there is no boss in the Scrum team, and also it's protected by the Scrum Master. So if you can have a better look, the Scrum team is protected by the Scrum Master. It's self-managed and self-organized inside the Scrum team. Also, the Scrum Master is the first to intervene to the Scrum team behaviors, actions, and requests. The Scrum Master is the one that will model and shape the team behavior, but this will be done together with a development manager, with a team leader. And also, the Scrum Master role is similar with the team leader role, except the administrative part like performance review and career path, this is still will be done by the management. If we are looking specifically on the Scrum Master, we say in our experience and also in our department, we are one of those that we say that dedicated Scrum Master is highly recommended. We say that this could be an ex-team leader if they want, and an experienced Scrum Master should have maximum 2 teams. If they will try to have more, this is, let's say, over commitment. And then we still recommend that a minimum amount of time that you can spend as a Scrum Master is 50%, but be attention that you should spend the priority on Scrum Master activities, because we often see for the Scrum Master that are also developers and also Scrum Masters, if they have a high priority implementation to do, what they will choose. They will choose to do the implementation. If, let's say, they have both an implementation and a Scrum Master activity, they will choose the development task. Okay, and we also say that the Scrum Master should have a direct superior that can coach him to his role as a Scrum Master. Also, the Scrum Master takes no decisions. So, takes no decisions at all, not even on the process level, but he has a huge influence to team, to product owners, to management and stakeholders. Okay, discussing a bit about this development manager, as I showed, this development manager would be the one that will manage, let's say, multiple teams. The development manager could be a former team leader or group leader. He will supervise sufficient team members for 1 or 2 or 3 Scrum teams, and he is focusing on people management. This is the most important thing. He engaged constantly in person discussions. He is focusing on individual and team performance maybe once a month. He is always discussing and focusing on individual career path to improve the, let's say, the colleagues and stuff like that. Preferably he has a single role to have a sufficient time for have a productive performance review with the Scrum teams, and also he is focused on hiring talent for the Scrum teams. Could be a development manager for dedicated roles. I will show you also a bit later. The product owner should not have administrative conflicts with the Scrum team, so he shouldn't be a boss of the Scrum team that he is a product owner. We really promote the idea that we should have a 100% product owner role. This is the best way to go. and also not to be from team management. And as I said, in the Scrum team, there should be no hierarchy. All the Scrum roles are equal to each other. Okay, for a development manager, I just show here, for example, we can have a development manager for different roles. For example, a development manager for Scrum Masters, a development manager for, let's say, for testers or for QA or for product owners. And this development manager will focus only on these roles. He will try to let's say, to build the people there and to manage them successfully on their career path. For performance review, this is just a hint. We started to promote the idea in our Agile teams that we will discuss only on individual goals, something like 50%. These are just some examples. For team goals, let's say 40%, and project or group goals, 10%. In waterfall, I think you would have 100% personal goals. We try to promote the idea that in Scrum team there are no heroism. There should be only a Scrum team, not, let's say, single persons that will do. And also, this development manager will be a feedback gatherer. So he will, let's say, give feedback something like 20%. Those are just some arbitrary numbers as example. Don't take them as the one that should fit. So just as an example, the development manager will have personal discussions once per month with every, let's say, development member from the team. And he will have, let's say, a feedback that can amount of 20%. Then he will collect feedback from the product owner, he will collect feedback from the Scrum Master, and we also promote the idea to have 360 degrees feedbacks. I don't know how often do you do at your office, but having a 300-degree feedback that I will receive feedback and I will give feedback for everyone from the team, then this is very, very useful for a feedback. So 30% feedback from the team and maybe external feedback 10. And gathering this feedback, then he will have some data that he could collect. Okay, so as a conclusion, the Scrum Master is a servant leader for an independent team. So he is the one that he's leading the team, but without authority. He's the master of the process. That's also called Master Scrum Master. He is the one that owns the process until the team will own it. So you will see that mature teams will start to know the process and they will own it. But until then, the Scrum Master is the one that owns the process. He should be independent to, let's say, to have a freedom to talk with everyone. And also we promote the idea to have a dedicated role in order to have, let's say, dedicated time to do all of this. That was it. If you have any questions, we can discuss them on Marketplace or even now.